Alright, what is going on everybody? HC Jammers here, back with another Street Fighter 5 video. Today's video is not going to be the usual, going over some tech about our 7-colored bomber R.Mika. In actual fact, we're going to be looking into something specific with our young female psycho soldier, Falke. Now, the majority of the community, if not all of the SF5 community, pretty much written off this character, simply because it's too strenuous, her toolset is too specific, and there's nothing that makes her really viable at the highest level of play, or even competitive play in general, because it's just too strenuous to do. It's mentally draining, and you know it's not as easy as like your Akumas, or not as potent as your Akumas, your Kamis, your Guiles, etc. And she's just easily been written off, and a character that will have future hopes in Season 4 of the game. But recently, I went in trainer mode, like a couple of days ago. I was dabbling with Falke, and I've sort of had a re-evaluation on the character. And because my initial thoughts was she's not that great, there's no point. If you really want to mess around with her, then you can do, but in competitive play, don't bother. But I was like, no, the character's not as bad as I initially thought. And I've been messing around with her toolset, and more specifically VT2, which is what this video is going to be focusing on, but more so how to activate VT2, because there are problems with doing it. So yeah, enough of me babbling on, so let's just jump straight into it. We should be all good to go. Right, so like I said, we're going to be looking into V-Trigger 2 Psycho Angriff. 3-bar V-Trigger, takes a while to acquire, but when Falke is in this V-Trigger, it's not so bad, which I may talk about what you can do in the V-Trigger in another video. Depends on the reception this video gets, but we're going to be looking at how to activate it. Now, the general consensus, and it's probably the biggest deterrent as well, is activating it is the biggest problem, because you can't activate it on block and you can't activate it on whiff. So you basically, all you're left with is you have to hit confirm into it. You have to find a way to combo into it, or you got to be very lucky activating it on hits. Because if you activate on whiff, this is what the animation looks like. So it looks like that, and you're basically, it's a whole animation, and Falke is not going to be able to move again. She's going to be recovering throughout the whole animation. So she says a similar problem, or the exact same problem as Zeku's V-Trigger 2 and Birdie's V-Trigger 2. So let me show you the V-Trigger again. The whole animation's got a rock. You can't move out of it. Look, see, I'm going to backdash. I can't move out of it until it's done. So that means you're basically presenting your opponent with a huge opportunity to punish you, and it's a big deal because that could either lose you the game or put you in a perilous situation that can end up with you losing the game. So either way, it's a lose-lose situation. Activating on block, which I'll show the frame data behind that shortly, it's a big deal as well, because you're going to leave yourself at like -42 or something, and then again your opponent can get like a full jump in punish on you. But this video is going to show you ways you can activate it on hits, so let us jump straight into that straight away. So first off, you can actually activate it off normals. So people might be thinking, oh, can you activate off lights? Yeah, you can. If I do like a stand light kick, go into V-Trigger 2, you can do. So if you wanted to use stand light kick to maybe stop or clip a random dash, or maybe to counterpoke, as long as it connects, as long as the light attack connects and then you activate into V-Trigger, you've got to be 100% aware of this. You should be able to activate and it will connect, and then you get the link into V-Trigger 2, and again you watch the animation. You can even do it off crouch jab as well, which is pretty sick, because a crouch jab has got decent range when I get at the max distance of it. There you go, so you can do that. Doesn't do a lot of damage, but it's getting the activation that is important. So yeah, she can activate V-Trigger 2 of all her lights. Like I've done before, crouch medium kick, that's a good deal. Oh, that's a good way to activate as well, because you can't, crouch medium kick is not special cancelable with Falke. So if you're using V-Trigger 2, this gives crouch medium kick a very good purpose in terms of activating it. So you can use it to counterpoke, or you can literally catch the opponent maybe walking back in a situation and then go, right, I've seen it hit, let me activate into V-Trigger 2. So that's another good way of doing it. You can activate her V-Trigger 2 from any specials. Her V-Trigger 1 doesn't do that, I believe, unless it's with the psycho shots, like the projectiles basically. We'll show that in a minute maybe. But let me get an example. I should have a dropkick animation here. Yes, I do. So I've got this animation. Let me turn it off and then I'll explain it and go back to it. So there's certain situations, like I said, you can activate off of V-Trigger 2 off of special attacks. and there's certain situations where I think it's really applicable and really strong. But again, you have to have the V trigger to do it, otherwise it's not going to be as effective. But we're going to use Psycho Schneide, her uppercut, to interrupt Mika's dropkick and then activate, because this is one way you can activate. So you can go like that and then activate, which is pretty cool, and that does decent damage as well. 228, that's not too bad. That's a meterless activation, no meter required, so you can do it again. Now you can use Psycho Schneide to anti-air as well. I'm not sure if I'm going to get this 100% correct, but hopefully you guys can get the idea, because you can activate if you do anti-air an opponent jumping in at you, and I keep getting it to trade because I'm really bad. I want this to get a clean uppercut. Will it get it? No, it won't. Okay, well that's what can happen, but you can actually get this to hit. Do you know what I'll do? Let me see if I can just get them to do an empty jump. Let me turn off that recording and then get the opponent to jump. So you can do this and then get it to hit. So maybe if your opponent goes for an empty jump or a neutral jump in anticipation of you doing a reversal Psycho Schneide, you may be able to catch them off guard there. But because of the animation, I think if they quick rise, they might even be able to punish. No, they won't actually. It looks like you're +4. So you can activate like that. That's actually pretty sick. So you don't need to worry about your opponents jumping in on you. Oh, sorry, getting up and punishing you properly. So if you do happen to anti-air with Psycho Schneide and then, you know, activate into V-Trigger 2, clean activation. You won't get the follow-up or the extender from the V-Trigger animation, but the point is you're in your V-Trigger 2. That's what's important. So that's another way you can activate. This is going to be the main way you're going to activate. Let me turn that off. I don't know why I'm getting confused at the moment. There you go. So yeah, this is going to be the main way you're going to do it. It's going to be comboing into it, or maybe even a counterpoke into it, but my favorite way of activating into V-Trigger 2 is via catapult. So that's their 2 kick buttons there, the special move. So when you get that to connect, you can activate to V-Trigger 2, and this is basically a combo ender. So like I said, if you're in the neutral and your opponent throws out buttons and maybe you click them with a stand hard punch, or maybe a stand medium kick. Stand medium kick is like a really good button, by the way. You do that and then you cancel in, because that you're visually hit confirming into V-Trigger 2. You've seen that catapult's hit and you're like, oh, it's hit, let me activate into V-Trigger 2. Even if you do like a long ass combo, so maybe like 1, 2 to EX catapult, then go like that, again, activate and you're in. And since it does damage, that's fairly decent damage in my opinion. You can change the ender like to EX Psycho Schneide and then go, oh, I've done that wrong. I've got to wait till they drop a little bit lower. And then, there we go, that should do it. Okay, flopped it again, let's see if third time's a charm. And then this should do it, there you go. So yeah, look, that does 318 damage. That's not too bad. And like I said, you're in the V-Trigger. So there's multiple ways to do it. You just have to be 100% aware. You got to be cognizant of the fact that you need to make a hit count. And with using this character, hit confirming is a big deal. But again, for a lot of people, that might be too much work, which is hence why they're deterred from using this V-Trigger. So like I said, there's multiple ways to activate it. You can even do it off the shot. So if I was to do 1, 2, and then yeah, so anytime you get the shot, and if you're in range of it, actually, I'm not sure if you can activate off the low shot. Let me double. Okay, maybe you can. There you go. So yeah, there's multiple ways to do it. You just have to be aware of how to activate it, and I guess your opponent has to be aware as well. But you have to remember the fact that your opponent's not going to easily give you a chance to activate this Psycho Angriff, because if they're not throwing out any normals for you to whiff punish or counter poke in the neutral, you don't get a chance. If they don't present you with an opportunity via jumping, maybe you don't get the chance. And it's not like you can activate on block, which we're going to get onto now. So like I said, it's a pretty big deal. So if I change the opponent to guard all, right, so let's say for argument's sake, I wanted to activate off of a crouch medium kick into V-Trigger, but I thought the crouch medium kick, but it didn't hit. So if I was to do that and then go into V-Trigger, it's -42. I'm going to make sure the screen zoomed in on the frame data part so you can see it. This is a big deal. So doing that, you leave Falke at -42. So if the opponent's aware, the opponent can actually, I think the opponent can actually wait till the animation's done, or they can move before the animation's done, and they can get a full jump in punish if they're ready. So let's say in the neutral, you wanted to go, like I said, I've done the crouch medium example, but maybe you wanted to do catapult, or you accidentally done stand fist into catapult, and you're like, damn, I thought I hit confirm it, or I thought I got him, but I didn't. And then you activate to V-Trigger 2, being at minus 42, you're giving them a bigger punishment window. So you're giving them a bigger opportunity to land big damage, because let's say you done catapult by itself. Catapult is minus 10. But if you went, damn, I don't want to get punished by that, maybe I want to catch him off guard, which you can't, and go into V-Trigger 2, you just added an extra 32 frames for them to work with, basically. And that's something you don't want to do. I mean, you're in the V-Trigger, don't get me wrong, even if you activate a block, you're in the V-Trigger, but your opponent can either land a combo that could potentially win them the game, or they could land a combo that puts you in a perilous situation, which the next guess will be for stun or for death, basically. So this is why I'm saying, and I want to stress that point, it's imperative that you learn to hit confirm into V-Trigger 2 if you're thinking about using it. Like I said, I'll keep reiterating, it's a fun V-Trigger when you're in there. Activating it is the biggest problem. But I've shown you various ways. We've done it via light attacks, you know, you crouch medium kick to catch people off guard. You definitely want to combo into it. Catapult's my favorite way. You can do it off anti-air situations, or just catch people off Psycho Schneide into interrupting, maybe jump-ins or moves that leave the opponent airborne. You can't activate it off of EX moves. Let me make that clear. So if I get it on hits, actually no guard, so I can't activate it off an EX Psycho Schneide. You can't do that. I think if Capcom were to give her that, that might be like a bit unfair. You don't want to fall into the same category as Ken and the Kuma, I guess. And you can't do it off EX Catapult either. You got to do it off something else. You can do that though, maybe, so that's not too bad, but you're losing out on damage. Now, you don't have to actually worry about damage scaling with the V-Trigger 2, because obviously the only thing she can get after V-Trigger 2 is her super. And when you activate into V-Trigger from normals or in combos, there's increased scaling now. But like I said, when you do, let's say, a low forward into this, you can't get anything afterwards but super. And super does an abundance, or critical arts do an abundance of damage in Street Fighter 5 anyway. So it's not a bad thing, not entirely a bad thing. And if she does land the V-Trigger 2 on hit, she can dash up and get a meaty stand medium kick, which covers both wake ups, and stand medium kick is safe on block. So yeah, that's essentially it. Yeah, just a different video entirely. If you guys enjoyed, let me know in the comment section. If you want to see more videos on Falke, I may just upload them regardless, but because I'm actually dabbling this character a little bit more now. She is generally fun to play. It's just either too strenuous or it's not worth it in the long run. But since I commentate Street Fighter 5, it's good to acquire that knowledge, and I guess I got carried away with how things work. Like I said, the next video I probably do on Falke will be what you can do with V-Trigger 2 once you're in it, because there's actually a few gimmicks and a few things you can do with it that are pretty cool. But yeah, we'll leave that for another video entirely. Yeah, this has been your boy HC Jammers, so hope you guys have enjoyed the video and enjoy the rest of your day. So until then, take care.